Hi, this is Kelly Ermling. This is my case study for, excuse me, I was just taking a break outside with my family and now my allergies will be going haywire. So, excuse my sneezing and nose. My case study for Module 15, AEP 858. I know that the parents of Truman Elementary School are dissatisfied with the current reading curriculum. Students do worse in reading than math, lose ground from grade to grade, and lose ground as a cohort moving through the school. The literacy block is 1 hour per day. Whole group instruction is the majority of what is happening in the classrooms, and curriculum and strategies are not aligned with research on effective teaching and content. Excuse me. What I need to know is, why is no small group instruction taking place? How long have we been using this basal program? What is the research saying regarding content and teaching strategies in teaching reading to elementary students? What is the comfort skill level of my teachers in teaching reading and utilizing small group instruction? And what areas do parents feel we are lacking in? Again, I'm sorry for this. Allergies are awful. The problem, a majority of Truman Elementary School students are not growing in reading. Parents are dissatisfied with the current state of instruction in reading in our school, and the literacy block is sometimes interrupted by specials, recess, and or lunch. My plan of action is to organize the school and district in support of a grant proposal. I will contact the superintendent and schedule a meeting as soon as possible, and I will contact the reading supervisor to further discuss her recommendations. To do those things, I will first, at the next PTO meeting, discuss what Mary Ellen Sarkozy has asked. I will bring up the fact that this is what our district decided to use, so we have been doing it that way, and it is outdated, in my opinion. I will then inform the parents attending of my decision to meet with the superintendent and get the ball rolling to find out what works better for our students. Next, I will send out a letter to the parents in each classroom to inform them of what changes I hope to begin setting in motion and asking for their support by contacting the superintendent. Then I will send out a survey to families, providing me with more information on the areas we are lacking in, as well as the concerns about their own child. Additionally, I will show our superintendent the data, discuss what is happening with our parents, provide the reading supervisor's recommendations, bring up the grant I will be applying for, and discuss how I want to begin researching new curriculum to use to help us meet our needs. Furthermore, I will have our reading supervisor take me through some rooms to point out areas of weakness in the basal program we are using and to suggest ideas on how we can tweak those areas while we are waiting for the big switch that I will begin working on. I will look at the current data and research to find what is working in our classrooms, finding programs and best practice strategies for our teachers to use with our students. I will find a reading program that works with whole group instruction, but also make sure to provide training for my teachers on holding small group instruction, strategic reading, and individual conferencing to work on personal goals with students. We will have professional development to help us learn best practice for implementing this in the classroom. After applying for and receiving the grant, the money will be used to help us purchase the supplies needed to move in the right direction in terms of our reading instruction. I will make sure to adapt the curriculum for our school, or that our school follows if the curriculum has not been altered by the Board of Education and superintendent. I will still follow what they recommend, but I will also find ways to do what we need to do in our own schools so that it works and is successful. In creating the classroom schedules, a 90-minute minimum of reading instruction will take place uninterrupted. In resolving the issues, what is best for the students is that students should be receiving instruction that meets them at their level, small group instruction, and individual conferencing in addition to whole group instruction. Research-based classroom teaching strategies are what the students need, not outdated basal reading programs that only give them whole group instruction. The students need to receive at least a minimum of 90 minutes of uninterrupted time for their literacy block. The data shows us that the students are not performing in reading as they are in math. These numbers need to change to show us they are performing at more proficient levels. The observations from the reading supervisor show the literacy block is sometimes interrupted. little small group or intervention is taking place. Entire classes receive the same skill instruction, not taking into account their personal performance levels, and very few classes focus on strategic reading strategies. During this case study, I was thinking that the school's method for reading instruction seems outdated. You don't hear too much about basal programs and relying solely on using basal programs. And looking at the math data, I was also thinking that the reading numbers did not seem too far off from the math data. So I was just wondering why the parents were focusing solely on reading and not both areas. This made me feel a little fired up because this reminds me of how my current district is. We are focusing on other standards during reading than the students' reading level standards every day, with the district office administration thinking that we have time for small groups and individual conferencing during their independent reading time. However, we don't have time for these because we are constantly assessing reading levels and sight word lists. They have raised the level of reading proficiency, so more of us are having students reading below level. However, nothing has changed with our instruction to meet these higher expectations. I value that the PTO president brought to the principal's attention the concerns of the parents. Some existing issues and unresolved issues include the outdated curriculum, fixing the master schedule for each class to have the 90 minutes of uninterrupted reading time, and working on the professional development plan and in working it into our time in our school year for my staff. I addressed the concerns at the following meeting that the president was asking about at the PTO meeting as requested by the president. I encouraged those present at the meeting to contact the superintendent so he hears the concerns firsthand, and I sent home information to parents about the process I would be starting at our school to improve our reading instruction. I used the data presented to come up with my plan of action. I communicated to the community my steps and kept them up to date with new information. I used the data provided to compare new data we gathered throughout the process while beginning to implement our changes. I worked closely with the superintendent. I used the time allotted throughout the day for instruction to make a master schedule that meets learners' needs. I used the information governing our school to see what types of changes I could implement by adding minutes to our reading block. I kept in close contact with the superintendent. I worked closely with the reading supervisor on ideas and recommendations. I communicated throughout the process with the families in our school via email and letters sent home. And that is the end of my case study. Thank you.